Hi, everybody, and welcome to Cavaliers Corner. I'm Mick Morano with head coach of the men's basketball team, Jeff Young. And Jeff, good to see you again. Do you ever gain any weight? I bet you can still give the team 12 or 15.
I don't think so, Mick, but it is good to see you again. We're ready to get started, and I try to keep that weight down if possible.
You do a heck of a job. Tremendous job you did in the GLIAC. I mean, coming in from NAIA, probably the other teams thought, well, we're going to give these guys, let them know what it's like in Division II. And you did just a tremendous job. The team year in and out was successful. You went all the way to the finals. The one year that you were 8th seed, you beat two of the top teams and got to the finals and just kind of ran out of gas. But what season was maybe your favorite or the one that you enjoyed the most?
Well, I think there's a couple seasons, Mick. If you look at the overall body of work we did in the 5 years we're in the GLIAC, we certainly have a lot to be proud of. I think we're the only team in the GLIAC to go to the Final Four, leading into last year three times.
3 times, right.
And of course, like you mentioned, making it to the final game a couple years ago. Especially coming from the NEI, there's been several schools over the past 5 to 10 years that have made the transition. And we followed those 40 to 50 schools, and they've really struggled to try to catch up to the Division II level. So we feel pretty good about our 5 years in the GLIAC. It was a great run. The competition was unbelievable going into it.
Right.
Talking to coaches, they always say, what a grind it is, day in and day out, and it certainly was over the course of those 5 years. First
season you were in, you were second in the South Division.
Yeah, we weren't eligible for postseason play, but we would have made the postseason, I think, at the 5th or 6th seed in our very first year. So we felt good about that. We beat some teams that were at the top of the league at the time. So we thought we made a pretty good transition right away.
What a great thing Walsh University did, coupled with Mount Union, to have that exhibition, which was very successful, to help out the hurricane victims.
Yeah, I actually got a call from Coach Fueline about 3 days before we did the event, and Mike and I have been friends for many years. We both live in the same community, and I wasn't thinking or considering doing anything like that, and when he mentioned it, I said sure, why not? And between Mike and his staff and our staff here at Walsh, we were able to put it together in a couple of days, and it was a nice event.
I look at the roster this year, seeing the guys practice, I say, who are these guys? It's like a whole new club. But you have to do that anyway. Over a couple of years, always are going to have seniors that are going to graduate and move on, and then you're going to have some kids that don't want to commit to playing anymore. Mm-hmm. And you've brought in some great recruits. Talk a little bit about some of those kids you got brought in.
Well, sometimes we feel the same way as you, Mick. We look out there and like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
We've got 10 new faces, and we lost 85% of our scoring off last year's team. I think the transition would have been a little easier if we'd have been able to keep Connor Keck healthy and playing. But his doctors did shut him down after a 3-year struggle with blood clots, and it's probably for the best for Connor as far as his health is concerned in the long term. But we certainly miss his leadership and the player he would have been if he was healthy. So it's really 4 starters that are not returning off last year's team. But we're very happy with the guys we have in. They've already shown a lot of promise early on. They work extremely hard. They're very coachable. And I think the nice thing about this group of guys, they all get along. They enjoy being around one another. I think you can kind of see that on the floor. We're not relying on 1 or 2 guys to score the ball every night. I think it's going to be a group or a team effort night in and night out.
You look at it, and I've seen them a couple of times now. It looks like you'd be comfortable going 8 or 10 deep as ever, playing well. And do you prefer coaching this type of team as opposed to having 1 or 2 guys dominate the ball?
Yeah, I think so. We were caught in a little bit of a bind last year with some youth and a few injuries, and both Trey and Zach did a tremendous job. I mean, when you're shooting, 55-60% from the field, it's hard not to run things through them.
Right.
And but I prefer, it's share the ball and get everybody to contribute. Guys feel good about themselves that way. I think they play better on the defensive end if everybody's involved on the offensive end.
We've talked in the past about your last couple of seasons. More consistency in the front court would have made those last couple of seasons more successful. looks like you've got that. You've got several kids that with some height that can not only clear the glass but get out on the break as well. And I think that's going to help you throughout the season.
Yeah, I think so. Like you mentioned, I think the biggest thing is our depth. We've got 2 and sometimes 3 deep at each position. And the other thing we try to do is recruit to some length. We were playing small with Zach at the point guard the past 3 or 4 years, so we've gone from a 5'5" point guard to a 6'7", 6'8" point guard, which allows you to do some different things, especially on the defensive end. And we can put a lineup in there with nobody under 6'3". So again, those are the things we haven't been able to do in the past. And
this is going to allow you, and you proved it the other night, maybe do a little bit more pressure defense as well. Yeah, I think when you do that, when you extend the court, it allows more guys to play. And if we think we have a 10 or 11-man rotation, it's going to give other guys opportunities. So we want to go up and down. We want to score the basketball. We've done that in the past. We're trying to take it to the next level. Finally, Jeff, this is you hear people talk about, well, you're going from the GLIAC to the GMAC. It's going to be a little bit easier, but you look at those teams. This is going to be a dogfight. This is a quality conference. Well, I think so. If you look across the board in athletics, which we've done as a basketball staff, I really believe that basketball is the one sport, and there may be a few others, I don't know, but there's not really much of a drop from the GLIAC to the GMAC. When you bring teams like with the tradition of Kentucky Wesleyan that have won 10-plus national championships, and successful teams like Alderson Broadus, and of course Findlay and Hillsdale's joining us as well. To us, it's really not going to be any different. The biggest change is going to be the length of travel, probably more than anything. Something that you're going to enjoy not having to do with those trips way up into Michigan. No, we had some really good trips and some good competition at Tech in northern Michigan, but I won't miss those 15-hour bus trips in 4 feet of snow. Yeah. Jeff, best of luck to you. We'll be following you all season long, and we'll do it again before the season's out. And congratulations on all the success up to this point, and just done a tremendous job, and looking forward to tangling with this GMAC. Thanks, Mick. Appreciate it, and we're excited about the start of the year. Jeff Young, head coach of the men's basketball team here at Walsh University on Cavaliers Corner.